So, Mark, first there were dogs on planes, then there were snakes on planes, and now there are cats on planes. Did you see this video of this cat wandering down the aisle, everybody petting them? I guess it's nice when people accept the pet that's in the cabin and are friendly to it.
I was surprised that this was allowed. The flight attendants seemed to be cool with it and everything. Is this like the bodega cat of the airplane? Like maybe it's the airplane's cat. I don't know.
I don't know. It reminds me of every time somebody brings a baby on the plane, the flight attendants go nuts. And I've seen it happen with dogs too. So people do love animals and pets, but admittedly, I don't love a hairy animal that belongs to somebody else walking up and down the aisle, especially one that would eat me if I died.
Instead of handing out like headphones, they hand out lint rollers at the end of the flight just so people can wipe off their pants.
One of the more confusing things in the miles and points space and credit cards is the Platinum card because there's so many different versions of it. And it used to be kind of cool because they used to allow you to get one of each version. So you could get the sign up or welcome offer for each version of the card. That's no longer the case. But one of those versions is the Morgan Stanley card, and that ties into your brokerage account with them. The coolest thing about this card is it gives you a free authorized user, which usually you have to pay, so you get those platinum benefits. And they have an increased welcome offer, 125,000 membership rewards. But is that really something people should pursue now that they have this rule limiting you from platinum welcome offers?
Yeah, it's an interesting debate, and I guess it depends on like what you want long term and stuff like that. And I've carried all the platinum versions except for this one. There used to be 4, now there's 3. And this one, because you have to have a Morgan Stanley account, there used to be a way to get around that by opening up like a small trading account and you could still apply for this, but I don't think that happens anymore. So that's one of the like barriers to entry. That's a problem. And then you look at the regular platinum, the vanilla or just the Amex Platinum, you can get like up to upwards of 150K for the welcome offer. So you're giving up 25K to grab this one. You get the free authorized user, which is $195. I'd still probably sign up for the original platinum, get the bigger bonus, pay the 195, even if I had to cash out some points to do it to offset it because you're still coming out ahead. And then maybe switch to this one down the road. I mean, that's why I miss Ameriprise when you used to get free authorized users. That one was a good one.
Yeah, and the other one, I guess, since we talked about all of them, is the Schwab Platinum, which has the ability to cash out the points at 1.1 cents instead of 1 cent. So you have all these different versions of the card, probably too advanced for most people. But I guess my advice would be grab the best offer that you can. These cards have a high annual fee, $6.95. There's a lot of, little perks that you can do. We call it the coupon book. So they're not always the best cards for everybody. Yeah, a lot of breakage, a lot of things that are credits that you can miss out on. And but these welcome offers are worth a decent amount. 125,000 membership rewards can be cashed out with that card for $12.50. So I guess you're coming out ahead there. And then transfer to airline partners, you do even better.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Like grab the biggest offer in year one. And then if you decide that the platinum works for you, look at all 3 and decide which one fits your needs best. You can still get the other cards. Like you could close the one you grabbed originally and sign up for the new one. You just won't get the welcome offer again. So it's not like, oh, I can't ever get this other style. So focus on the welcome offer and then decide what works best from there.
So one of the craziest things about the hobby is flying domestic first class. And the way I say that is because I think a lot of people, they fly and they dream of someday I'll sit in that first class seat as they walk down the aisle. I know I did for many years. And then you get in the hobby and you learn about elite status, upgrades, and you just end up flying domestic first class often, some people more often than others. I clearly fly in the back of the plane more than I do in the front, but you also realize when you do get that first flight in domestic first class that it really isn't all that special. And I came across this YouTube short where this guy accidentally paid first class instead of coach. Who knows if that's true, but anyway, he booked it, showed it for the mediocre experience that it is, and I always find that funny.
Yeah, he said he paid $300 more, so like double the economy price, and then was trying to get his money back, and there's no way you can get that back. Like it might be worth like $100 more, maybe $200 if it's a longer flight just for comfort. But for the most part, it's not worth it. I only book them, like I will pay a little bit extra to book them either by miles and points or an upgrade fee or whatever. If it's like an overnight flight, just because it's a bit easier to sleep, or if it's early morning and I know I'm going to dread it, at least I have something a little bit to look forward to. But for the most part, I'm in the back of the plane too, because you don't get lounge access, which a lot of people probably think you do, and you don't get that much better service. You might get like one extra drink service during the flight versus the other, unless you're hitting the call button all the time. The food is not good. Airline food, period, is mostly crap. It doesn't matter, international, domestic, whatever. most of it is not great. So it's just what it is.
Yeah, that's the truth about airline food is that even the best of it generally isn't great. I've had a couple really good meals on planes in international first class, things like that, but outside of that, you're not doing good. But I think it's a lot of people are confused because they call it first class. You're expecting this experience, and you do have international first class with suites and showers and all of this, and that's not what this is. Clearly you can see that as you walk by, but you're not missing out on much. It's fun, it's a nicer seat, a little bit more space, not worth a huge premium in my opinion.
The best thing about sitting in first class is watching everybody mean mug you as they walk by, boarding the plane, right?
Yeah, it's even better when you have a kid with you and then everybody's, giving the kid dirty looks. I've done that to flying to Hawaii with my daughter when she's little, and she's flown in domestic first class thanks to upgrades and stuff like that quite a few times. And yeah, everybody's always giving you the stink eye as they walk by, but I just tell her sit up proud and own it.
Here's the rule. If you're not turning left to go to first class, it's probably not worth it.
There you go. Staying on the subject of airlines, there's a new Amex offer for Delta Airlines. Amex offers are great, one of our best ways to save money. These are targeted offers on your card, so you can log in and just look at the offers section and you can see some of these offers are available on all cards. Some of them are highly targeted. This one is highly targeted because it's giving $75 back on $200 in purchases on a Delta flight that originates in the US. And that's a pretty substantial discount.
Yeah, that's huge. It's probably the best we've ever seen. They come out with these Delta Amex offers somewhat frequently, like once or twice a year. This is the best I've seen it. Lowest amount of spend, plus right at the highest amount of rebate. So it's cool. And if you don't have a Delta flight coming up, but you do fly Delta somewhat often, you should be able to lock that in by booking a $200 flight somewhere and then canceling it a few days later and just getting the Delta credit. That will expire after 12 months, so only do it if you know you'll use it. But that's a way to lock it in even if you don't have anything, for sure coming up in the next couple months when you can use this.
One other thing with Amex offers is they have a limited quota on how many they have. So even if you're targeted, make sure to click and load it to your card so that it doesn't disappear. Because once it reaches a certain number of redemptions, then it will disappear even if it's before the expiration date. So always load these first and then figure out later what you're going to do with it so that you don't miss out.
Yeah, I mean, we see it every day. Oh, it was there yesterday. It's not there today. I should have just clicked the button. Yep, get it done.
So this next story is crazy, and it just got crazier as I read it, because the headline is about arriving at this hotel that has Legionnaires disease. So this is on Travel Update, and he landed at Newark, and he was basically getting a room for the day using Marriott points at the Renaissance Newark Airport. And as he books the room last minute at the airport, he's in the shuttle to go to the hotel, gets this email saying that they have this breakout of Legionnaires disease or their water is tested positive for it. And then he checks in, they remind him of all this. But this letter is just hilarious. It tells you, if you're over 50 years old, that you shouldn't take a shower, that you should take a bath, but make sure you fill the bathtub up very slowly so droplets don't get in the air. Talks about brushing your teeth. You could drink the water, but make sure it doesn't go down the wrong tube, because if it goes into your lungs, then you could get, this is insane.
Yeah. I don't understand how a hotel can be open and that this is just prime time for lawsuits if somebody does get really sick. And a couple people did get sick. That's how they found out. I don't think anybody got too seriously ill, but people die from this disease. It's a serious thing. And they're just like, how do you fill a bathtub slowly? Like drips and drops, which just makes more droplet. I don't know. It's insane that they would have people in there. And then he walks in there and his room has the faucets torn off the shower, and they have these chlorine tablets that they're putting into the water. And I'm like, man, just shut down for a week and clean everything and treat the water and get your pipes up. And I don't know. Only Marriott, right? Can you imagine anybody else doing this?
Yeah, this is a very Marriott thing, because when he goes in the original room and that happens, he calls Marriott to try to see if they can find him a different hotel, because all this, on top of the Legionnaires and all that, now as you point out, his room is not the room he should have, and then they move him to a different room. Marriott tries to say, okay, well, we can move you to the Marriott down the street, but it's going to be more expensive, instead of trying to resolve it. And his solution was just to stay in the room, but not use any of the water. So no shower, no brushing your teeth, no nothing. Just stay away from the pipes. This is just a terrible experience. I hope he gets a refund. They should absolutely not be open. You're right. They should not be taking customers. Fix this. I get it's expensive for the hotel owner and they still want their revenue or whatever, but this is a little scary.
you're thinking about money and one person dies from it, and that's your fault. You knew, you still let them come. Even if you tell them all the rules, we know people, they don't read stuff, they don't follow rules. They're going to be like, oh, it's not a big deal. Like, you have to protect them because they're not going to protect themselves. And that's your business. You're bringing them in and you're letting somebody potentially get very sick. And that's just a horrible way to run things. I mean, I can't say enough. I will never stay at this hotel. I will tell anybody that asks. I mean, I don't plan on staying in Newark anyway. But if anybody gets stuck having to stay in Newark, I'm sorry. And two, do not stay at this hotel.
How come it's always New Jersey? I just don't understand why it's always New Jersey.
Hey, I grew up there, so I can trash Jersey. You can't, okay?
I'll trash it all I want. That place is terrible. Newark Airport is terrible. And I have no desire to go to the airport hotels or the airport. So, yeah, this is crazy story. Read it because it goes into great depth. And I was glad he shared it, but what a nightmare. So we're back to American Express. We have a lot of American Express today, but that's because you can earn 200,000 points on the business platinum. So we talked about all the personal platinums, but if you have a business account, 200,000 or more, right?
Yeah, so it just popped up in the refer a friend, which you can get, 25, 30, 35K. Sometimes it's down in like 15 or 20K. But you get that for referring your spouse, significant other, whoever, and then they can get 200,000. It's targeted. And that would have been a really great offer like 4 months ago, like the best we've ever seen, except for there's 250,000 point offers out there, 300,000 point offers out there. If you search incognito, you can find these. So even if, including the referral points, probably not as good as the 250K or 300K offer if you can get those to come up, unless you can pair it up with the 10X restaurant spend referral offer that's going on where you get the 25,000 points plus 10X plus they get the 200K, then maybe you're coming out better, but that's kind of hard, a needle to thread.
And mentioning that 10X offer, American Express offering an extra 10X at dining on up to 25,000 in spend. If you refer somebody else, that offer ends today as this show comes out, or the ability to refer for that offer. So if you have somebody to refer, this can be very lucrative if you have a lot of dining spend or can generate that spend. So don't miss out on that as well. If you're watching this on Wednesday, May 22nd, that is when that's ending. And I know that's been very popular in the community.
I just did it again this weekend, even though I had referred my wife to a card when this all first came out. But I knew that was going to be ending sometime, mid-June, late June. So I did it again this weekend just to extend that a couple months, use the same card. But now I'll get, 3 months from this past weekend to do it. So that's good. And if you're searching the incognito offers, you just want to pull up incognito, whatever browser you use, search business platinum, and then click through, get the offer, whatever it says, leave it, unless it's the 250 or 300K right off the bat. But you leave it, let it expire, refresh, and then hopefully it comes up. But try different Wi-Fi signals, different computers, phone, all that stuff. And you should hopefully be able to get one of those two to come up.
Yeah, persistence is key, but it can be rewarding if you do it. So a lot of fun trying to get those offers to show up. So the other cool travel story, I don't know, technological story of this week was the portal that opened between New York City and Dublin. Yeah.
Should I flash?
Yeah. So this is neat. It's like this portal where you're looking at it and if you're standing in New York, you're looking at Dublin. And if you're standing in Dublin, you're looking at New York. And it's a cool use of technology. Wish it's something I could have seen, but it had to close this week temporarily because people were, as you said, flashing. Somebody mooned it, and then a very famous video, a lady flashing her breasts to everybody watching on the other side.
Yeah, and at first everybody thought it was because she was on the New York side doing it. So you just initially think, oh, of course Americans do it. But there's women flashing on the other side in Dublin. So it's going both ways. They showed the 9/11 video on it, which, okay, that's terrible. I don't know why you would do that, but you're probably somebody young and stupid and drunk and thought it would be funny. I don't know how they didn't think that this was going to happen, though. They put in these parameters, you can't get too close to it. You can't hold your phone up to it. If you do block it somewhat, then it will go to static so nobody will see. So you just think that anybody with a brain would realize that this was going to be a problem.
I say let them do it. This is just humanity. Isn't the point to connect humans together? Now, I get no breaking real laws. I mean, I guess there's public nudity laws, but, no committing crimes on the camera. But if somebody I don't know. I feel like that should just be part of the experience and warn people.
But what if it was your daughter standing next to you and a guy whips out his, that's not going to work.
Tops only, Mark. Tops only. We have to draw the line somewhere.
That's the one thing too. Like the girl flashes, nothing really comes. I think some people did get arrested in Dublin, but if a guy did it, oh man, he'd be in jail for like a year or two. Like it just would go badly. Yeah, we'll have to see how this plays out going forward. I wouldn't be surprised if they have more issues, but hopefully they came up with some type of things that will stop that. It sounds like some people did make friendships, started texting each other through it, so that's kind of cool.
I just think that we have to let people be people, but why do people have to ruin it? You're right. If somebody did that, it wouldn't be great, but it's a cool idea. I don't know why. I mean, we have video calls, we have FaceTime, we have the ability to do this ourselves without any issue. So the technology isn't mind blowing, but maybe we should have more of these, just these kind of looks into other sides and kind of connecting all humans together a little bit better. That's what I like about this. Yeah, all the bad parts about humanity too. I mean, that's what humans are.
Yeah, it shows you all sides. So there you go.
So a few months ago, Hilton announced a partnership with AutoCamp. If you don't know what AutoCamp is, this is sort of like glamping. So they have these Airstreams that are really fancy. You could rent those, or really premium tents. And they have these campgrounds with s'mores, and it's basically an upscale camping experience for people who don't want to deal with the outdoors. Very cool. And you can now redeem Hilton Honors points at one of their properties. They're rolling out a lot of the AutoCamp properties this year, but the Cape Cod property is the first one that's bookable. I was looking and it was 70,000 points for a standard award there. The cash rates were like $330 plus tax. So the value is about right where you would expect. And I also got to tour one of these Airstreams when I did my Hilton press tour a couple weeks ago. They're very nice, and I'm excited. There's one coming in Zion pretty soon that you should be able to book, and I think I'm going to do it. It looks great. Seems like a very neat product.
Yeah, I think this is, we've seen this more and more where hotel chains are trying to get into like the Airbnb thing. This is normally what you would see on Airbnb and other places like that. And they've gotten into condos, and you can book condos with points. And this is just like an extension of that. And by having these, you can get to places like Zion, like national parks. Cape Cod's notoriously expensive, so that's cool to see there. And you get more access to places you wouldn't get otherwise. So, good on Hilton. They just added SLH. They're adding this partnership. They're giving a little bit more value for the points, even though the points aren't worth a ton individually. At least you have more access to things with them. And I think this is pretty cool and something unique, and hopefully more chains jump on it and do something similar.
And Hilton really does have the best free night certificates in the business, and you can apply them to this as well, to all these partnerships. So it's very good on how they're making it accessible. Whether the value is all there or not with each point. Points are worth different amounts from different programs, but this is a great offering. They also added graduate hotels too. So Hilton has made a lot of moves this year, and it's good to see AutoCamp finally coming online. There are a little bit of perks depending on your elite status. The best one being Diamond, you get like a s'mores kit. So they're even rewarding Hilton Elites, even though this is a partnership. I really like what they're doing here. And like I said, I got to tour the Airstream, and that sold me. Hopefully I'll throw some video up for you guys to see, but it looks great.
Oh, we're throwing up over here too. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Gotta get that for people. And while we're referencing our Vegas show, we did talk about this on the Vegas show in more depth, our MTM Vegas show on the other channel, so we'll put a link in the description. But the Mirage in Las Vegas is closing. Built in 1989, it was the first mega resort on the Las Vegas Strip, and it was bought a few years ago by Hard Rock, who said they were going to keep it open and redevelop it into Hard Rock Las Vegas, build their giant guitar tower, similar to the one they have in Florida. But they announced this week that they are closing it, and it's going to be closed for 3 years during the redevelopment. So a historic Vegas property going away forever.
Yeah, the first of the mega resorts, which is crazy to think, Vegas is all mega resorts now. But somebody in the comments on the video was like, I remember driving by this when I lived in Vegas with the cab driver, and he's like, 500 million for that thing, all those rooms, it's never going to make it. It's never going to survive. And now we have like, 10, 15 of them there. And it's just crazy how much it's grown. And Steve Wynn, for all the bad that he is, he did have a good vision and did something really unique and kind of started all this. So a lot of, his DNA is tied into what you see Vegas now, which is kind of crazy. And this is kind of the first revamp. I still think it's bizarre that they're closing for 3 years, especially after they spent all this money trying to get people in the door. But, they must have reasons.
It is closing July 17th. The hotel, the last night to stay there will be July 14th. And I guess the most important thing for just the non-Vegas nerd traveler is the Volcano will be closing forever as well. That's where the guitar tower is going. So if you love the iconic Mirage Volcano, or you've always wanted to see it, that will be your last chance in July. The strip will be changed forever with this crazy guitar. I mean, this thing is huge.
Yeah, I think anybody that's been to Florida has seen the version there, and it's impressive. And this is going to be even bigger. So it's going to be crazy. It's going to really change the whole. Anybody that has a Vegas poster in their house or a picture or whatever, it's going to be outdated as soon as this thing goes up because it's going to take over the whole skyline, besides maybe the Sphere.
That is just what happens. You take a picture of Vegas and the next day it's different. But let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about. Mirage closing, Legionnaires disease, that nightmare scenario. Flying first class for the first time, is it everything you expected? AutoCamp, are you booking one of those Hilton rewards? Hit us up in the comments. We do a show every Wednesday and some bonus shows on the weekends, hopefully. Make sure to subscribe. This is still a new channel. We need your support. Leave a comment, like this video, help us reach more people, share with your friends, let them know 20 minutes an episode, and we can help you travel more, travel better, and we'll make your life better overall, right, Mark?
Yeah, that's the hope. That's the dream. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please subscribe. Have a good week.